point, DCKO number 5 concludes that, I don't know, event series, which I didn't enjoy at all. I thought it was incredibly stupid, rather lazy in some areas, and then all the tie-ins I had no interest in. I foolishly read the night fight thing and only did it because of Dan Mora's art, which of course is excellent as always, but it was just a nothing story, and the overall story is a nothing story. Now, the idea of shoring up continuity and this sort of thing, they never really pulled the trigger on these. They haven't done it since Crisis on Infinite Earths, which at least they made more of an effort back then. Since then, and they dance around things. If they were judging it on a business model or business realities of this title outsells this one and that one, so the ones that take priority are those, and you streamline what you're publishing and you go forward from there and revisit some characters who look they might have a following or whatnot, but if they're not able to capture enough interest, then that's the end of their title, and so on and so forth. That clearly it hasn't been the driving force in the mainstream comic books for quite some time, and there's obvious titles that they would push. In the case of DC, Superman and Batman will be your main ones. Wonder Woman holds an honorary position. I don't know that her sales have come on par with Superman and Batman over the years. We've had some good runs here and there. We had some significant arcs to them and whatnot. Right now, she's in the hands of Tom King, which is the absolute worst thing that could happen. The absolute Wonder Woman, narratively speaking, is the superior book of absolute DC or whatever, of the absolute universe, which is, for all intents and purposes, been a success. Primarily led by absolute Batman. But anyway, that's the deal in these lines. And now it's successful. I got to keep it going, And what are the ramifications of it? So a series like this, that's supposed to be something that's on par with, Crisis on Infinite Earths, I suppose, 0 Hour and the rest. And since then, Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis. Yeah, then Snyder's the guy they go to all the time. So Dark Knight's Metal. And Dark Knight's Metal, for what it was, it didn't really do a whole lot. And and the stupid thing of the Batman Who Laughs was an absolutely terrible character. But the overall series was at least fun. It was crazy and over the top, and kind of shades of that permeate Absolute Batman. But in a lot of ways, Absolute Batman is much better than Dark Knight Metal was. But ultimately, they just don't do a whole lot. It's just a bunch of flash here and there, and then another tease, and then another tease for something else. So Absolute Power was supposed to be a reset. Now, it wasn't a one that changes the whole universe or anything. It was actually more contained to the Amanda Waller's plot about superpowers and all that sort of thing. And then the aftermath of that and the problems it created and whatnot. They follow those threads. And but something like this, you're supposed to streamline it a bit so your continuity is in order, and you kind of shuffle the deck there to get it more organized. But they never really do. They just never really do. And the ballsy thing to do, which even the Crisis on Infinite Earths was supposed to do it, but they never really did. They're supposed to just start over from, and they did Man of Steel in year one. They kind of, sort of, but they kept having vestiges of what they were supposed to leave behind and all that. And no, they really didn't. And then, reinterpretations and whatnot came along. So that was the best effort on that. But they just don't have the balls or the spine, whatever, to do something on that. And some of it comes in, the Batman titles are doing well. It's like New 52. That was another attempt at that. And they really did it, seemingly, everything was changed. But they had the problem of Batman was so popular they couldn't change him too much. But then you had this ridiculous status where, the DC universe is now only 5 years old, but Batman has all his Robins. So this is like at least several of them. These are boys that he raised to adulthood. And it's like within 5 years. Yeah, with only Damian being, the one that's still a kid. Yeah, that don't work. It's those stupid things like that. And it still happens. Maybe not that drastic, but, just not thinking it through and slap job and stuff. This one, it was just stupid all around. They're doing this, gladiatorial match, competition with one another. And then it really delved into the stupid with specials where they're fighting, I don't know, video game characters and, pro wrestlers or whatever. There's a bunch of stupid tie-ins and stuff. And then you finally get to the final battle with Darkseid. It's supposed to be the final battle, but of course it isn't. And I mean, if he did it to where, in the plot tells you their only chance to save the universe from Darkseid was to defeat him in this tournament that he has to go through for whatever reason. I mean, it's like, well, he's so powerful. I'll just take it. I don't see but oh no, these are the rules. And the Heart of Apocalypse just pulled out of thin air and all that. But nevertheless, that's what happens. And so they got to do that. But if they're successful, well, then they can reboot the universe so it starts over. So that teases, an actual reboot or what have you. That's not what you're getting. Nothing really happened. It's as if none of this happened. The only thing is, Superman mysteriously disappeared. So he's on some mission or whatever, Yeah, Luthor didn't win, actually. That was the cliffhanger, but spoiler, he didn't. But that's all there is to it. It really doesn't live up to what it teases, but teasing is all it does. The artwork sometimes comes in. This is kind of a cool scene. It's a callback to how the series began and all this stuff. The constant flashbacks to their board game night that Lois and Clark have with Diana and Bruce. Oh God, was that annoying? Just constant, but it's the game and it's all about Superman and how he doesn't want anyone to lose. And that, like, it's some profound message and it's the core of the book, and it just falls flat. So ultimately this is where you end up. All in part 2, which there's this next level. What, I don't know, pick a title for your movement or whatever, but it's just giving you a tease of title. So Batman's going more blue these days, so I guess that'll be his look. Superboy Prime, I guess, will be your main Superman for a while. Then you've got all the other super people, and I don't know what's going on here. I'm not familiar. It is Super Batman guy. I don't know what they're doing there. One of the there's a possibility they're not going to do it. I really doubt it. That would be ballsy to basically retcon the retcon of Jonathan Kent to where the Jonathan Kent you thought was Jonathan Kent, the one that they prematurely aged into adulthood, is not the real one. But you could still keep him around as his own character and give him his own identity and stuff. I don't think that's who this is. I don't recognize this character. There's, Connor Kent. I don't know who this is. I guess they got this series about Clark Kent's years as Superboy, so I guess they're going to pursue that further. There's, Thunder Boy, in the future becomes Magog. And then there's young Jonathan Kent. Now, I don't know if they're going to have flashback tales of young Jonathan Kent back to his boyhood days. But there was always the possibility you could do this, that this is an alternate Earth version and wanted to be a part of Superman's family, maybe even believed that he was his real son. And then you keep him around like he's, the adopted son, and he becomes kind of an older brother to his younger doppelganger or something like that. He could have done that. But yeah, you know why they won't. So, I don't know. Batman will dominate the sales. He usually does. There's Wonder Woman, but after what Tom King's done, and these are some of his characters, I got no interest in that. Supergirl, wait, is she's shooting heat vision out of her nose? Well, she gets a new power, and the Spectre, and I don't know, I guess kind of a new look for Cyborg. But there's the Titans. Oh, look, it's Dreamer, who dreams of being, a woman. Anyway, there you go. Not much at all. Much ado about nothing. The only thing is, oh boy, when does Superman return? I don't know, but he will. Maybe they'll do that by Christmas, and then it's a new threat, because the series ends on a cliffhanger for another event. No, I don't mean this overall arc, all in Act 2, next level, whatever. No, there's another big event series with Darkseid. So, yeah, it really didn't do anything. It made Superman God in this issue. And then he just sort of, nah, never mind. And that's the end. Boy, teases are very irritating. So you just got to go through, and you can look for titles that are good on their own. And primarily that's Jeremy Adams, his Aquaman. I never thought I'd like an Aquaman series, but it's really good. His Green Lantern kind of faltered here and there, in my opinion, but still better than most things. Batman, every now and then, it's good. Superman was really good. They really stumbled on that, and now he's not there. So that really hurts the Superman titles. So I don't know. But that's all you can really do. And then, of course, out-of-continuity titles are your best bet. But that's about it. The problem is, with these constant events, they intrude and bombard, and interrupt the ongoing titles to the point of their detriment. To where, hey, even if they're already pretty bad, they're even more pretty bad, when you do that. And it's just unnecessary. And I don't see the benefits to it. I mean, what are your metrics that if you get a bump in sales from one of these special events, does it make that much of a difference? To where, well, we got to keep doing it. I gotta admit, I'm pretty skeptical of it. Now, by comparison with Marvel, DC's done very well. But Marvel basically just imploded on itself and is determined to keep doing it. So it's not much of a metric, but we'll see where they go. But I don't think this is a good plan. And I certainly am not interested. I keep trying to find something here, but at this point it's on me. Because this is going to keep doing it. I don't know that I care for Absolute Crisis. So anyway, there you go. It was a waste of time. Another waste of time.